All right, I'll mute. There we go. All right. Big everyone, tell your friends, tell a friend we're live. Big up to everyone live in the place at Log. Big up, brother Dominic, very important contributor to the show. Good to see the brothers here. All right. Where are we? Share, care everywhere. Here we go. Here. Ta-da. So, welcome to the Black Man Broadcast. I'm your host, Brother Raven, also known as Rap Raven. Today is the 218th attempt at working with Black people to find solutions for Black people. Fantastic. All right. So don't forget to follow our Black Betterment Building Instagram page. I say it week to week for 20-something weeks now. I do a poor job of promoting it, and I do a very poor job of promoting it. Well, nonetheless, it is promoted. There you go. So let's start as we always start, and that is we talk about the triple tragedies, which is white supremacy, anti-Black racism, and the Ma'afa. Yes, these three things here are very dangerous, and they have contributed to much pain and sorrow. And those pain and sorrow are continuous, and that goes in the form of the double dilemma, which is unfortunately we are despised and we are disorganized. That's right. So this broadcast is to try to fix that problem of being despised and disorganized. What do you have to do? Well, you promote a lifestyle known as Black Betterment. That's right. This entire broadcast promotes a lifestyle of Black Betterment, a cultural concept that allows Black people to take control of our own destiny and do our own thing. That's the idea, and then every Black person can do it. Right. So we're also going to focus on Black families, Black economics, and Black health. We did something a few weeks back called Malengo, which means goals in Swahili, I believe. Forgive me, I haven't brushed up in years in Swahili. But and that focus on these three things here: Black families, Black economics, Black health. And it's very important to talk about Black families, Black economics, and Black health because we are talking about generational wealth today, as well as manosphere, and they overlap. Usually, centers around European women. That seems to be the common thread nowadays. But we'll unpack that. All right, so what we're dealing with. So the links are, people always want to jump in, but when you do, please remember to practice discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment, which are the 4D values. That's right. So if you can practice those, that'd be super fantastic. It makes it easier to try to find solutions when we are here debating, discussing, and all the other Ds. Cool. Try not to use derogatory language. It does cause confusion and anxiety. Unless we're using as a case study, it's best to try to use constructive language and descriptive language over derogatory language, if possible. Right, so with today's fantastic topics, I hear you say. Well, it is Quincy Jones's generational wealth. We discussed the parallels between Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson's generational wealth outcomes. So a few months back, maybe a year now, we did look at brother Michael Jackson. Unfortunately, passed away, and he had a lot of assets in his name that he then passed down to his children. And we looked at that, and we looked at their children, who they were with, and we wondered if those wealths would, will go back to the Black community at any time. Probably not. But it was, a case study. And we looked at Quincy Jones as a big collaborator of Michael Jackson. Did some amazing work. I believe the first 3 albums, Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad, was by Quincy Jones. Critical acclaim albums, very good albums, really good. If you haven't heard them, you should go here. But and obviously, unfortunately, brother passed away not too long ago. And so we're looking at that. And then the next one is Black Manosphere Tactics is written. Yeah, so I saw a video, and it just showed me of the tactics that Manosphere, especially Black Manosphere, but Manosphere in general, they do, and how to get clickbaits. But obviously, it's at it's at the mercy of obviously the Black woman, or the woman, but generally Black woman. And we just highlighting that tactic. And we also discussed the patterns that Black Manosphere podcast use for popularity, and if reform could help the movement. So we break down so those that don't know what Black Manosphere is, we'll try to break that down. Not everyone knows it, but we see a lot of Black men doing Black version, and I see a lot of like clickbait stuff with Black men talking down to women or trying to school women and this kind of stuff. But this is obviously a case study, and we're trying to get behind that and see what's leading it, and also, what's the point of it. All right. So what we're going to do is we always do. Tell your friends, tell a friend we're live, by the way. And it's important that you jump in live because you get a chance to steer the direction of the broadcast. That's right. We're going to look at our traditions, as we always do, is there's videos that I play for the week. And your host shall open the ones he saw. and give you a Black Betterment perspective on those videos. So while people get ready to come in and, you know, come home from work or wherever they're doing, or tea or whatever it is, we shall run through this. So what number is it? Oh, so I can find it. Hold on. Achoo. Bless me, please. All right. So what should we look at first? What did we see when we were on the let's start with brother Amos Wilson. We're trying, you know, always good to see master teachers in the place. So let's see some things he was saying. So it's good to hear him. Let's have a listen.
The idea, if you're going to win your freedom, that you're going to be disliked by a lot of people and a lot of ethnic groups. Yeah, you got to get used to living with great tension if you're going to reclaim yourself and reclaim your life. If you're trying to maintain peace and harmony with every other ethnic group, they're going to put conditions on it. You can maintain harmony if you let me sell to all your kids and you never own anything. You can maintain harmony as long as you don't disturb my economic domination.
Wow. So yeah, that we go over that all the time here. But yes, unfortunately, that's why we try to have a very limited involvement of non-Black people when it comes to Black Betterment. It's actually built within the lifestyle that it's only for Black people, and that's because you will be conditioned by other groups to do certain things. That's in their own collective best interest. These are the facts. I've observed it tremendous times before. I've joined many. Usually, I join many Black grassroots organizations. I usually go in there to help with code and to help with organization and that kind of stuff. And then there's usually non-Black people there, and I go, well, you know, this is your thing. If I had my rules, I would say this is limited because of certain reasons, but you know, it's your thing. And as time goes by, you see that non-Black people have certain kind of rules in order for certain things to go forward. Interesting. All right, let's see the next message from the fantastic master teacher.
To compete with the Japanese. We've got to compete with white folk. We've got to compete with the Latinas. We've got to compete with all other ethnic groups. This ain't about no harmony and love between sisters and the brothers and all this. This is not the way the world operates. People compete against one another. The other people are not going to give up their control of your communities. You're going to have to take control from them. They're not going to give up jobs in the name of some human kindness. They're going to maintain those jobs. If you're sitting around waiting for other ethnic groups to give you your fair share, you'll be waiting forever. The idea is you have to compete, and you have to prepare yourself to compete.
That's right. Marcus Garvey down the last. I think that's Marcus Garvey. Sounds like him. You got to compete. That's Black Betterment teaches about competing. Black economics. Controlling your own wealth, generational wealth, all that good stuff there. You got to compete. Unfortunately, we've been conditioned to not compete. We've been conditioned to actually be subservient and serve others, and we don't even know we're doing it. And that's why we invite people on here to let them speak. And as they speak, they demonstrate this kind of loyalty to other groups. We are the most collectively inadequate group. We have the most domination from others, and everyone knows it. But yet we seem to always want to give away the most. And that's because we haven't been trained. We don't have a culture of Black Betterment that teaches us better. And that's what this broadcast is about. You see? That's what it's about. So big up brother Amos Wilson there. Always fantastic to hear his stuff. Passed away many years ago, but still with us in spirit and with wisdom. All right, what else we got? From one, should we go from a, nah, it's just quite heavy from that system. What else? Let me see. Who's that? Kids. Oh yeah, this is a bit awkward. I don't know if I should. I'll play it, but it's not cool. So it's basically I saw this a Halloween costume of some child and the mother. I think the mother, I don't know if the father was involved, of dressing them up as like a kind of modern rapper called woman rapper to this kind of what do you call it, augmentations. And I think they're trying to go for the horror thing, but once again, I think leaving children out of this kind of comedy stuff they're doing. Let's watch what they do.
These BBLs killing y'all, and the thighs don't match. Well. Turn to your neighbor.
Laura, is this natural? Is your bum natural? How much? 2 pounds. Dad, let me see. Turn around. Oh, I understand. It's really 2 pounds. That's why it's like this. It's massive, baby.
I love they're based in America. Maybe they're African who's in America. I'm not too sure.
These BBLs killing y'all. These BBLs killing y'all. These BBLs killing y'all. Killing y'all. Killing y'all. Killing y'all.
Hello? Says massive, baby. Say damn. Damn. It's massive, baby.
So I was going to ask a question: where's the father or a male figure around this? But I don't know if this is a uncle or the father or whatever. Because we did some case studies about some of these behaviors, and we always want like most men are not comfortable around this, but and obviously most women not, to be honest. But obviously it's usually when the father isn't seeing this kind of stuff that you might go to a certain place. But unfortunately, no, there's some male in there, and I can understand that what maybe some women might not see certain things as inappropriate when it comes to just like how to present young children. Maybe I don't know. You have to let me know because I'm into this kind of stuff. For me, this is a no-no. But this is very disturbing. I would like to follow up on that to see what is going on. This is quite this is not good. So yeah, quite heartbreaking, really. And obviously, the child don't know what's going on. I think don't get me wrong. The concept, in the sense of you don't want people to have augmentation, I get that, and we're going to bounce into another thing about augmentation. But you leave children out of it. Very important. You let children be children. So I don't know if anyone knows, where this is or if people stop it, but I would recommend they do immediately. What else was there? There was a face. Is it face jokes? Not my self-hate milk. What's that? Oh, there's a lot here. This is so. This was. I don't know if this was in. I want to say one of them kind of Eastern European countries. Maybe the flag like Bulgaria somewhere. Could be wrong. I don't think it was Turkey. But I saw the sister here, and it's they're having the ethnic. Is that what they call the ethnic rhinoplasty? So we covered this before. And this is where you change like the nose and stuff to make it look more European and non-black or just augmented. I don't know now these days. But I thought it was interesting because I don't know why it came. Oh wait, press the wrong button. Oh, we'll find it again. I got a lot of stuff on this. There we go. Yeah. So it came up, and then I don't know why it came up. The algorithm was giving me this, but there's a sister there that's drawing the parents and wonderful looking sister. But I don't know if she cares, if anyone told her. That's why I say be very careful what you tell women. Women especially. Obviously, men go through because men are doing it now as well, especially the homosexual community. But it's you want to be very careful what you tell your children. We were talking about Michael Jackson and what his dad told to him. But it's very important. And obviously, these guys here, they'll be waiting in the wings with their discount prices to Europeanize your whole family. But the thing is, what was interesting, obviously I was going to leave my traditional comments, but they've blocked all comments, which is interesting. When a company that sells any kind of service blocks their comments, be very wary. Right? I expect people want this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You women let me know, maybe it's a normal thing to pay lots of money to look less African and stuff. Or maybe that's not. Maybe that's just. What do I know? I don't know, right? But anyway, so that came across. I thought that was interesting to observe. Well, some of this stuff is very disturbing. I'll play a 4 seconds of this next one. This is a gentleman.
My dreams and becoming a
who's transitioned into a man in aesthetics, I guess. And I think this person is expecting a child.
Pregnant dad. In the beginning, I had a few complications. She's been growing and she's healthy, and I haven't had any complications since then. It's been very good with the support of the doctors. I haven't had any bad experiences with me going to the doctor.
The world we live in, where a woman can turn herself into a man and then still live the life of a woman having a baby. And that's the confusion of this society. That's the confusion of this place. It's the most disgusting place. And what I would like to add, this is what the Democratic Party wanted to bring to y'all. I ain't a Republican, Democrat, or none of that. But y'all whole movement was about abortions and this right here.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, this was so I came out. So okay, that's That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we do extend a discussion to people in the LGBT community just for us to understand what is going on. Because it's interesting to know because from one historically, and this shows you why how dominance works. You have there's been many shows where black people say, "I'm not black, I'm white, or I'm something else," and the European they'll make films about it. They'll make Jerry Springer kind of shows about it, and those shows tell them, "No, no, no. Even though you might not feel black, you might not want to be black, you are black." You know, and it's only when a white person wants to be black when they might take that kind of stuff serious, like racial dollars are and these kind of things. But when it comes to a man want to be a woman or a woman want to be a man, this is accepted immediately, and there seems to be some kind of agenda behind it. But what do I know? We do inviting the LGBTQ and all the kind of alphabet stuff, whatever, to come and discuss this so you can educate us on what is going on. Because I don't know. I don't know. So it's always good to talk about that. What else are we dealing with? Self-hate. Got a lot of self-hate stuff. Let's see what else we got here to look at. Oh, this is interesting. This thing about Europeans talking to Europeans about Europeans.
We're going to do something about racism. You had 400 years. You could have done it. Okay? So
I am 58 years old.
I'm shutting you down right now.
I am not responsible for anyone
the
before
point is, I'm so tired of just engaging in this conversation and this deep hurt that Andrew has about talking about racism. And Chip, God bless you, but I'm going to put everybody in the thing. All of us white people do this. I don't care if we say we're abolitionists. I don't care if we say we're progressive. I don't care if we're literally members of the KKK. Every single white person upholds these systems and structures of white supremacy, and we have got to talk about it.
So this, yeah. So when black people say this, it causes controversy. So there is a value in non-black people saying this, but there's also education in the sense of Black Betterment tells you don't jump out the window when you hear non-black people admitting to racism and how it's structured and how everyone benefits and how no one's dismantling it. You must still remain on your Black Betterment square, still walk with black people. Don't start sending out invites to the barbecue and all that kind of stuff. And that's one of the things, because we're so used to having nothing, that when someone mentions something slightly true, it's like that person and these people become like honored guests, and it's like, no, sir, you have to keep doing what you're doing, and you carry on. That's how it works. So just a little lesson there, and good to hear, but still a lesson there. You don't change your strategy no matter what people are saying. What else we got before we jump to the topic? This is Trick Daddy talking. Let's
Afro get in front of my mother race. I ain't never been to Afro color. I never been to Africa. Afro or Africa. Never been there. I'm not from Africa. I'm born and raised in Goose, Florida. I'm born in Goose, raised in Liberty City in the Poker Bean Project. I ain't never went to Africa. I ain't thinking about going there. And I heard it's a beautiful place. Yes. And I know it's the motherland. Yes. But not my mother, not her mother, and not her mother's mother. That ain't their land. America, real true land is right here in the U.S. soils.
Right. So some people mix about this kind of stuff. I would say, rather than getting in for arguments saying you look more African than me, or you are from Africa, that's where the enslaved people come from. I don't really engage in it. I mean, people, like I said, people have a right to identify what they want. But I think more importantly, explain to people the history of why the term came in, why African American came in. It was a term to give a unique experience to the African Americans or the Black Americans, and also connect them to a land because they were disconnected and they always felt like they weren't citizens. But also as a Pan-African or a kind of more political strategy of connecting them with actual governments out there and trying to build connections and travels and trade and support, and also eventually try to get the American government done for I forgot the crimes they were doing, but. Yeah, there was a lot going on, but talking to the others about why the strategy they had in the naming, and also a bigger conversation about, well, what could be done to make Africa and African Americans, or just Afro-Caribbeans or any kind of Afro around the world, more connected, so there's no confusion. Because, like I said, there is a big disconnect. So I think that is a strategy. rather than getting angry or getting happy and saying you are, you ain't, you are, you ain't. Let's talk about the bigger picture of why something was in the first place and how certain things can be used for the collective betterment of the black community worldwide. So that came up. I saw that on the feed. And also it ties into that whole the new movement of Americans who identify by either being black, native, or enslaved, descendants of enslaved Americans and this kind of thing. What else did we see? We also saw this. Shut up, come skip that one. What's this? Oh, you know what? Oh, that's number 2. I'll start the show very soon. 23. I'll start the show in 7 minutes. Saw this as well. New Gladiator film coming out. I'm going to watch it.
Kiss the man.
Starring a very good actor, Denzel Washington. But he said this, which is interesting.
I actually kissed the man in the film, but they took it. They cut it. I think they got chicken.
I loved the film. I wore rings and inspired by your character.
Yeah, I see you got all 10 fingers. There you go.
Oh yeah, double sometimes. You got to get them all in. Like every time.
What about?
Yeah. So Denzel Washington kissed the man in this kind of Greek Roman film, and I think he was always famous for like not kissing white women or something like this, or trying to always have a black wife. I can't remember how much effort. Yeah, and obviously the brother's married to his sister, which is 10 points for him. And there was always that thing that I was trying to get a black man to play a woman or kiss a man, especially good ones. And he managed to avoid all that. But apparently something happened that didn't happen that was cut out. But he mentioned, I don't know if he was like just making sure he's staying ahead of the curve or whatever. But yeah, that was interesting. If he did, I hope that doesn't get released. I don't think, but let's see what happens. So that was Denzel Washington. I don't know if something, okay. What else we dealing with? Let's have from a master teacher. Let's see what she said.
No help. Freed. No help. Critical question. Did the trauma continue? So you have to ask yourself, in 339 years, did anybody help us with trauma? People being beaten, raped,
no,
sold,
no,
mutilated, experimented on, all kind of horrific things. 339 years with total impunity. People could do whatever they wanted to do to a human being from birth to death. 339, no help. Nobody came to help us, right? No Dr. Phil, no, great, incredible psychologist or therapist giving us, nobody did that.
When we talk about ancestral obligations, the reason why I'm dedicated to, black families, black economics, and black health is because of the ancestors, what they went through. And this what the sister's saying here. This was many, and this happened all throughout the diaspora, and on the continent, but throughout the diaspora, what she's highlighting. And when you see that, when you read the enslaved narratives and you read the history books, and then you see obviously the legacy today and how we're behaving, it all connects. And I think while we're working ourselves out, we should have certain rules, and I'm very strong on this. Certain rules, and that should be, you should try to be healthy, should try to create some economic base, learn something to the fish community, and try to become constructive and find a constructive black partner of the opposite sex. This is just the basics. We struggle with the basics because we're collectively inadequate and we've been conquered, and we haven't recovered from being conquered. But the sister breaks down what is happening, and she's asking those questions.
Then we got freed. Great. Anybody help us then? Did anybody say, I know they sold your son and your daughter. I know that you were raped repeatedly from the time you were 7. I know all that. Did anybody help us? 339 years of trauma, no help. Freed, no help. Critical question. Did the trauma continue? You
skip. Yes, it did.
Bet it did. Long after slavery, all the way up to George Floyd. We know that the trauma continued. Did anyone ever help us? And then they told us you don't have to talk about it.
Not only that, a lot of the decisions we made are based upon trauma. And that's why we go heavy on the miscegenation concepts and generational wealth, because we're making decisions and we haven't healed from a mass genocide, you see. And it seems that all decisions we make doesn't work in our collective best interest because we're conquered people. And that's why I talk this way, and that's why it pierces straight through the ears, and it's very hard to debate people like me because that's how I thought. That's right. I don't debate anybody. But you have to read these things. You have to know these things. You have to have a conviction. You have to have something you stand on. And the sister puts it very well. She's made a book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. I recommend a good buy. But let's see anything she says. Hold on.
We're not anything other than a miracle.
There you go. Sister's amazing. Master teacher there. Big up that sister. George Brew. And I think there was someone else. Someone mentioned a similar thing. Let me see if what did we see that one? I remember. So I should have labeled it better. But maybe it's this one.
Point to grind.
Maybe this one. Similar.
In a talk on post-traumatic slave syndrome.
And they said this is quite heavy stuff, but it's 10 o'clock, and we're learning so we can help our people. Remember, whenever you see things from the past of brutality towards Black people, I don't want you to take it in and feel pain or even hate on other groups. It's up to you if you want to do that. I think more so use that pain and that knowledge to help yourself, your family, and Black people, and use it to do that.
Joy DeGruy, in a talk on post-traumatic slave syndrome, explored the addiction white men had to raping Black women with abandon.
You talk about pedophilia and all that. Imagine being able to buy that. And then you could beat it to death too and get another one. I know it's tough to wrap your head around, but what happens to an appetite created like that? Where you could rape a Black woman anytime you wanted to and it wasn't considered rape. Imagine being able to do that for couple hundred years with impunity.
But what did white women become addicted to?
The Casual Killing Act was written because of the number of people who were killed while being corrected.
We already talked about the Casual Killing Act in the 1600s to protect white women from prosecution from beating Black babies to death.
Such slave and shall happen to be killed in such correction, it shall not be counted felony, but the master, owner, and every other person so
But what other
correction shall be acquitted
privileges
of
did
all
they become
punishment or
accustomed
accusation
to?
for the same, as if such accident had never happened. You know how hard it is to beat someone to death?
Imagine having your sense of superiority, beauty, and femininity predicated on having a permanent underclass of women beneath you. What happens when that predication was built on a lie, and the moment the system that exalted you moves its crippling foot off of her neck, and she rises and shines like the nebulous, unstoppable Black girl magic lace star she always was?
Yeah, she's talking about how European women were complicit, and also unfortunately we kill a lot of Black children with impunity. That was back in the slave time all across the continent. There was no laws defending Black people. Unfortunately, very shocking stuff. But this helps us give a bigger context of why Black people are the way we are, and all the other good stuff there, or bad stuff, I should say. What else we do? What's that? So, should we start the show or show see if there's any other videos that might be of any interest? I've got tons of videos, but we never get through all of them. Mum's light skin, mate. What's that? This is a UK guy. I'll do a quick thing, whatever.
I'm like 10 minutes away from Claudius, bro.
So what's written is the stress of two light-skinned baby mums that live in opposite ends of London. If you don't laugh, you'll surely cry.
This is the traffic coming back. So when I get there, I'll show you the fucking thing. It's probably gonna say 2 hours for me to get to you, innit? So now your best bet is, now you're gonna have to bring her to me. Because then it's a fuckery. If I came to you first, then I could have done the round trip. It would have been easier. So that's what it's about.
I think he's a rapper of some kind. Maybe he's extremely talented, I'm sure. And I think he because he's not married to any of his the women he's with, he's had children in the past time, and he has to go and see the children on the same day for some reason. And maybe they come together as siblings. But he's written the stress of two light-skinned baby mothers. So once again, when a dark skin or a Black man, but particularly a dark skinned man, mentions light skin, you must always do the case study. It's a very weird thing to mention, to lead with. And you would want to do a case study to see the history of that person's day and how they view themselves. And I think a lot of the comments in the comment was, why did he mention light skin? What's that about? And that's something that we want to really kind of hammer home. Like I remember back in the old days, it was a thing to always mention, like you weren't trying to find a person. This is not me, by the way. But this is what people were saying. They weren't trying to find a partner. They're trying to find a light skin or whatever, these kind of terms. And then what would happen is you would have, then you would find Europeans or non-black people doing the same kind of stuff, right? So things to be aware of. These are where some men are leading with self-hate or potential self-hate, and as I said, post-traumatic slave syndrome. So it's very important, you're aware of that, and we can tackle that. And if anyone talks to these brothers, highlight to them. A lot of these brothers are not necessarily educated on the history of anti-black racism, the Martha, or anything like that. They're just living day to day. And if you live day to day, you're going to be conditioned to do things that is not in your best interest. That's why we push the concept of Malengo, which is black health, black families, and black economics, and black betterment, the art form of lifestyle, which is every day working towards improving black people collectively. So bring up that brother there. Hopefully, there's some healing. We did tackle some other. I think we're tackling what's his name? That guy's what's his name? The rapper unfortunately was murdered. Nipsey Hussle, great talented guy. And I think he had his friends at the funeral crying, and one of them went on stage and said, it's a shame you're not here because who's going to help us raise our light-skinned daughters? So it's very odd thing to say at a funeral, and that shows you that like how self-hate is like automatic. They don't even know it's self-hate. Like it's the automatic words that people use. But we can unpack that. But anyway, so that's that. I'm going to leave that there. We've done 44 minutes worth of just looking and giving a black man perspective on videos. Now we're going to start the show. Tell your friends to start the show. Tell them live coming now. So the two topics are, let me go to the two topics. Where's that? There it is. There it is. Fool. So the first one is, let's go in order, because the second one, I might play some other videos maybe. So guys, I might end the show in an hour because I've got things to do. Got to wake up early tomorrow to do some constructive stuff. What the solution is to stop procreating broken families. Yes, you wanna have structure in your family. Isn't it? You want to do that. Big up. But so if less people jump in, I'll go for half an hour. But now let's start with the topic at hand. And the first one is Quincy Jones' generational wealth. We discussed the parallels between Quincy Jones's and Michael Jackson's generational wealth outcome. Come. So yeah, we tackled Michael Jackson before. The conclusion was he was a brother, man, fantastically talented, did a lot of good things for the world and black people. He married Elvis's daughter first, and then he married a European makeup artist. I don't know if it's been proven. I think she had children for her ex-husband and gave it to him. And this is how he behaved. And unfortunately, he died overdose of some kind of medication that was given to him by a black doctor. But he was the last of many who were giving him prescriptions he was paying for. And then his family, his 3 European children inherit his wealth, and we'll have to I'll do a case study and a breakdown of who they married. But unfortunately, the person who produced his biggest albums, well, some of his biggest albums, maybe 2 of them. I think Dangerous was quite a big seller as well, to be honest, and that was done by Teddy Riley. Did that one. Some people think maybe Michael Jackson was assassinated. That's interesting. We can have that conversation one day. It was interesting. I mean, I'm not going to do parallels, but how Prince passed away and how Michael passed away, and there was actually a woman who was with both of them at the same time, which is some young lady. But I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I know someone's watching some. Sorry, oh, that's the same woman. But not that I'm saying anything. I'm just saying, what that woman? She's a young singer. She's like, I wonder how she's feeling. Like, you were around when both of these icons passed. What was that about? Or maybe she dated Prince. I can't remember. So my memory's rubbish. Sorry, but I'll look it up and I'll bring it. He did it on a lot of artist publishing. Built Dominic. Yes, he owned a lot of artist publishing, and that caused him a lot of problems. And I do want to know what happened to that now. Has his kids sold that back? Did they inherit it? Did they send it back to the music company? Oh, a lot's going on. But we're talking about the gentleman who produced for Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, and unfortunately, he died, I think, in his late 80s or early 90s. He was married 5 times. And now I didn't have time. I was rushing around today, but I got to start on some kind of design, and I'll finish it in a couple of weeks or whatever. But basically, it's let's break it down to the next page. So this is what I found. So obviously, I did my case study because basically I was on someone's page and and it said Quincy Jones gives 500 million to his children, and then there's all black people sharing generational wealth and rounds of applause, and I said yes, good stuff. But then obviously a Google search, he's never your best friend. Start googling his children and his wives and stuff, and everything. Yes, might not be generational wealth as we know it. Might be something slightly different. So what I did is I just quickly tried to research who his wives were or his girlfriends, or at least the women he had children with, and I got these 5: Gerald Cladwell, Carol Reynolds, Eula Anderson, Peggy Luton, and Natasha Jinsky. I think that's what he said. And throughout the years, he would marry her, and when he would divorce one, he would go to another one. So he had a very European. Face. That's important. That when black men become rich, we look at the history of black men and white women. And that's a thing. I think other people stay clear of this topic. I think we can't. I think black families is one of the malengos, one of the goals of black people. So you have to understand. And also we're demonstrating why black people have nothing, never probably will, as long as the mindset is still there. And then we have to unpack that. When it says love has no color, I say that is white wealth ideology, meaning ideology that will make white people rich. And what we look here, and I haven't finished it because I'm lazy and I've got things to do, but I'm going to finish it at some point. I'm going to put maybe I should put them on underneath. I'm going to put lines to say who's married to who and whose kids are. But when I was looking, this is the daughter on the far left from Jerry Cladwell, whatever, or Chadwell Cladwell, and she seemed to have married a European. So far, this sister, well, I couldn't find this sister here. There's the second one, but the third one I found. I've written their names down, but she married some Welsh actor, but I don't know if they divorced since. But it seemed to be I couldn't find any of the children who married anyone from the African American or African community. But I did find. I think that he had one son, and I think his son did. I want to say his son did, and his son's quite famous in the sense of. I think his name's Quincy Jones Free, and I think he's like a hip hop producer or some kind of maybe pop or something. And I should know, but I didn't read the credit books. But I know he's quite talented, like his father is. Sorry. But yeah, so that was So I know it's and that's something that's really consistent, isn't it? We should really look at James Earl Jones's family. My brother passed quite recently. One of the top actors, best voice in Hollywood. We had videos of him, and then asking him in the 70s, like, what's going on with you and black women? And he had some kind of response that wasn't correct. Yeah. So it's this is the thing. That's why we have a lifestyle that teaches you the value of black families. You see, because if you don't really in this world, you will probably get married 100 times to Europeans and then give away all your wealth when you die, especially someone who has 500 million. I suspect all his assets and publishers will. Well, I don't know if he was married upon his death, but yeah. But I think the children got everything. But then his children are automatically married to Europeans, and if they're not married, they will be soon. They will be soon after that 8 million inheritance. But it's just thing to watch. That's when you. I'm going to populate this graph, whatever. But when you see it in real time and you see the amount, and it's like. We covered Tina Turner the other day. Unfortunately, the sister passed away living in, I want to say Norway or Sweden. She was in a country that she had moved to another country, and I think she married a European man, whatever. And I think she might have outlived her kids or something like this. I think so. I think at least the ones with I don't have to Google that, but I think maybe the husband inherited a wealth and there were estates and the mansions and stuff. Yeah, so it's quite widespread to be honest. It is a thing. It is a thing of generational wealth going back to Europeans. It's a thing. It's a thing. But yeah, it's a very important topic. I'm surprised not too many people talk about it. Maybe the thing is not taboo or something, but I don't know. Anyway, but that's all I've done. So I haven't got any videos on Quincy Jones. I was gonna play a video of his amazing work and his talented skills and stuff, which we should do anyway, just to celebrate a great life. But we're still gonna use him as a case study of amazing musician, nice, wonderful man. But he married 3 Europeans and impregnated 5. And his children seem to have, once again, they're looking at, well, if you're going to marry Europeans, why can't I? He's like, why? Of course you can. His love has no color. African Americans have fully recovered from the Martha, from enslavement. You don't need to do. You can marry the descendants of the enslavers. You can, marry Europeans who colonized and came across the ships. You can marry Europeans from Europe or Europeans from America. That's bad. Yeah, do that. That's love. Love has no color. Well, hey, there you go. So that's interesting. It would be good for us to actually have, and I think the UK is this is how the UK is. The UK is more prominent in this kind of behavior, especially when more so black men, but black women, of course, yeah, now, but black men will lead in this concept. Yeah, fantastic. So we're going to jump from that to, funny enough, this next concept is actually over. It's like everything's connected to the white woman. So the next concept is Black Manosphere tactics. We discussed the patterns of the Black Manosphere podcast, use popularity, and if reform could help the movement. So my thinking is this. So let me show you what I saw first. Right? Maybe I should say, let me think. A few weeks ago, we saw some brother talking about, he's talking to black women, or women in general, but black women or whatever, saying, oh, you guys, you guys, whatever. He was saying a lot of things like, you need to get your act right, or you need to do this, or you need to do that, or you're not the prize, and a whole lot of stuff. I can't remember, but I know it's a pattern. So let me play this. So this is the brother here.
Don't qualify for the top tier men, and that is the truth. I'm 6'4", well over 100K a year, and I'm black. Single moms, recreational use only.
So yeah, that's the thing. So he's saying things like, if you meet a single mom, just be intimate with them. No commitment. And that the clickbait kind of stuff. And I think someone did the research, and not only is he married to a single mom, he's obviously European, and then he stayed. And she might be richer than him. He I don't know. He has to. It's not my business, but it's just that's the thing. When you go on the platform and you say that kind of stuff, people are going to do their research. And so now I look at his face. I actually remember him doing other stuff in the past. I just didn't put two and two together. So let's kind of listen.
Recreational use only.
Not a single mom of two.
That's why he talked the way he talked.
Shout out Benny Ray for the investigative journalism.
As a single mother, do you believe you deserve a man in the top percentile?
Now I know what you're thinking. You're the single mom guy. Check me out. I never once told you not to date a single mom. I never said any of that, but this nigga.
Recreational use only.
So you got with a single mom of two, gave her a baby, and she's pregnant again. Not to mention.
Since we got a little mixed baby here, we're gonna see which Santa he chooses.
I remember seeing this video where he's had a kid for European, and they do the whole, I wonder if he's gonna go for the black Santa or white Santa, that kind of like racial showcasing stuff. So I go, that's him. Oh yeah. So a few days later, he tried to do the whole Manosphere stuff.
Got a black Santa, and I have the white one.
Cringy interracial couple content.
Recreational use only.
Seems to me as though
you're doing more than recreational use with her, buddy.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Now you're a single mom.
Yeah. So I mean, so this is the kind of Manosphere kind of topic where men will go on one of these shows and they say, we're muscly, you guys are getting impregnated by Ray, so you can't hang with us, and you've got kids, so you're not top tier. And then, your attitude is this, your attitude is that, and it's kind of like it's like a clickbait. It's not a clickbait, but talking down to women, and obviously what happened. There was a white version of this, the Manosphere, and then what happened is, as usual, the black people tried to join it, and they got part to the bottom, so they formed the Black Manosphere. And then I think what happened was a European woman became the leader of that, which is, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So I thought, yeah, this is the tactics that a lot of these things do. Like, these guys will come on. And I think I said it before that all these guys are talking this way, I suspect they're all married to the daughters of white men. And it seems that way. It really does seem that a lot of these black men who are doing these Manosphere stuff and stay away from women, single women, they're actually married to the daughters of white men. And they're probably married to and adopted the children of white men as well. And I just, do what you do, live your life. But I think when you go on platforms and you talk this way, it seems very peculiar. But obviously we care about the Black Betterment standpoint because our concern is black people are conquered. And this is a part of that kind of conquerorship, you see. But let's carry on. Let's see if this is the part 2 of it. So, being true. So, let me open this phone. So I'm going to stop it for 5 seconds. So what I was asking, the question I'm asking is like, and maybe I should play. Let me actually, before I play this and give you my perspective, let me play what Manosphere is from a black guy, I think.
Something's about them.
Not that one.
Well, how can I not be his
So I
child?
can
I still
find
have his
out.
last. No, women. Well, how can I?
Just trying to find it, family.
That's in you.
Where is it? Did I not download it? Oh, come on. Tell me I downloaded it. Oh, man. Are you crazy? I must have downloaded it. I don't know. Hold on. I'm just checking to see. I'm sure I downloaded it. It'll be arranged by size. It should be huge. Arranged by size. Yeah, the Black Manosphere ended. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Black. So type the Black. I've got so many files I found that find one is almost. There we go. There it's right at the bottom. Hey,
everybody Deacon here.
I don't know once again about these people are, but I'm sure they do good work. I typed in Google it came in, but this guy explains his journey into Manosphere, not or whatever. So have a listen, and yeah.
If you haven't seen the last video, I'll leave a link in the description where you can watch that video and get caught up. Basically, me talking about how I got back into all this drama and watching this nonsense all over again. But in this particular video, I'm going to focus on my experience and what I witnessed with the Black Manosphere and with the Red Pill community. After maturing, growing, and focusing on what's important, like my family, my interest peaked again in 2020 when the popularity of the Black Manosphere, particularly the Red Pill section, started growing. Now, I knew about certain spaces and content creators like O'Shea Duke Jackson, who I still see his videos from time to time, The Angry Man, and Tommy Sotomayor during the drama I witnessed years ago against the Pink Pill movement, and a few other ladies on the platform as well. However, this time around, the Red Pill caught my attention because the very information sounded familiar to something I was exposed to when I was younger. Unlike others, I didn't watch a lot of Kevin Samuels because I'm not really his target audience, but whenever I did watch his content, I made sure that I watched the entire live streams, whether it was 2 or 3 hours long, so I could see things and hear things in its proper context instead of just taking snippets like a lot of people do and then make at least 10 videos to take advantage of what I called last year the Kevin Samuels stimulus package. Instead, I found myself mainly watching channels like MTR, The Poor Man's Podcast, and most recently, Cheesa Zed. And I hope I said your name right, brother, if you happen to watch this video. But those are the guys who subscribe to the Red Pill philosophy, whose channels that I watched and I deep dived more so into, because out of most of the content creators I ran across, at least with those 3 guys, it sounded more rational than others. But I'll get more into that a little bit later. Now, while watching this content, I've learned that there are many different definitions and pillars to the Red Pill depending on what drew you into this philosophy. Without me trying to oversimplify the Red Pill too much, it's primarily stressing the importance of being the best man you can be, focusing more on your goals, and less attention to distractions. Embracing your masculinity, being assertive, taking accountability for your actions, and not being a simp.
So unmute it. Unmute. Yeah. So what he was saying is, rebuild the man, not be, accountability, and I've heard and be successful, be healthy, not do crazy behaviors, So if that's what the Manosphere is meant to be, then yeah, sounds like a thing, isn't it? So, but I don't know what's happening after, but let's kind of listen. Oopsie daisy, what's going on?
Because by completing said goals, people, places, and things become an asset to your life instead of it being what defines it. That was the good part. Then you have what's called the Red Pill rage. The best way I can explain it is that the wool has been removed from a man's eyes, the rose-colored glasses have come off, and he has come to the realization that his value isn't based on unconditional love, but solely on what he can provide and or produce. Basically, everything that was told to him as a young man has been revealed as one big lie, especially when it comes to women. It reminds me of the time when I was around 7 or 8 years old. Sometimes on Friday or Saturday night, my dad along with his friends would sit in the car drinking while talking about their life experiences for hours. And let me tell you, for a 7 or 8 year old kid, that sucked. Imagine sitting in a car with 3 men, one that was married, one that was divorced, my father, and one with a baby mama. Of course you know that their experiences with women was always one of those topics being discussed. Oddly enough, a lot of the things that I heard then that I really didn't understand are being echoed by the red pill space today. I won't get into everything I heard, but 2 major ones are the lack of accountability and unrealistic standards for a mate. Now, there's probably someone typing, men do the same thing. Listen, I'm talking about my experiences with the manosphere and the red pill. Trust me, we will address other things in the next video, but for now, I need you to stay focused. Of course, a lot of other things are discussed.
Those joining, we're asking the question, Black Manosphere tactics. We discussed the patterns Black Manosphere podcasters uses for popularity and if reform could help the movement. So this gentleman just explained what Manosphere is and his concept or understanding. And we'll just listen to him and then we're going to, go on. Let's go and listen.
But the emphasis on the female nature tends to be the topic of choice for the majority of the time. Now, bear with.
So what we're saying is the show, Manosphere is going to build on one, accountability, being the best man you can be, intelligent, successful, and not simping. So I guess they call simping like, losing yourself for a woman, especially one who isn't worth your attention, or giving all your money away to someone who isn't worth it. I assume that's what they're talking about. But what he's saying is, even though that was the philosophy, if that's what it's meant to be, that you find that most of the red pill manosphere topics are based around bashing women, or critical to women, from critical to women to bashing women to just flat out anti-woman vibes.
With me because I struggled with how I was going to present this next point from what I observed from the red pill community as diplomatically as possible. But I couldn't, so I'm just going to spit it out. You have a lot of guys who learned either by experience or by witnessing from others that trying to be a traditionally good man or a gentleman with today's modern woman doesn't work. Therefore, men are either showing others how to properly vet women, which they should have been doing anyway, or showing why it would be best to just leave them alone altogether. When it comes to the black men in the red pill space, it's even more intriguing to me because I noticed many of them grew up in single parent households raised by their mothers. Why is that significant? Because out of the 5 types of men I typically see online in this space, your trolls, your incels, the men who hate women, yes, they are there, and they're typically mentioned as the guys who are stuck in the red pill raid.
We spoke to a few of them. Some guys, we commented, some UK guys, and they jumped on and they had those kind of tendencies.
Number 4, who are your most common, your good men who experienced hurt or saw the hurt of another good man by the court system or just done dirty in general. And then finally, this 5th man. Question: have you ever heard someone check a black man who was talking reckless about black women by saying, "Don't you have a black mother, sister, aunt, cousin? How can you talk so recklessly about black women?" Well, apparently this 5th man found out that the very woman or women that he holds near and dear share the same characteristics as the women he criticizes. The woman who was presented as a queen who could do no wrong, he discovers that she is only known as a concubine to the rest of the kingdom. That woman who he criticized for only wanting Pookie, Ray Ray, Tyrone, Tech Nine Terry, and Walmart Tavius, who he stated she belongs to the streets, turned out to be either his mother, sister, aunt, cousin, or all of the above. Meaning, if the black women who he holds near and dear to his heart have this type of nature or behavior, then how will other women who look like them stand a chance? Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you what I observed from their own admission. If you're able to sift through some of this nonsense on a red pill content creator's comment section, you will see what I'm talking about. Like I said, this is stuff that these guys are saying. This is not something I'm making up or just is my observation. This is what they're saying. My thoughts on the black male manosphere and the red pill community are similar to many others who believe that it's a necessary space for men to vent, but it isn't perfect by any means. I would be lying if I said that some of the information being shared and the things being said isn't toxic, especially if you read the comment sections of those videos. But from what I've seen, the majority of the information isn't focused on that level of toxicity. Like, there really are men teaching other men how to be accountable.
Right. Yeah. So this guy, whatever. Yeah. Bigger than him. So yeah. So yeah. So I think he's trying to say that there's meant to be some kind of structure and some kind of benefit or constructive output, but the trolls and the incels and the all the rest of it are running wild, and that's what we've seen here, especially when it comes to black men. But the question we're asking is for those hopefully that explain what the manosphere is. Like the manosphere is a collection of different men, overlapping goals, overlapping interests, right? And it comes down to men issues really. But there's different men. Like some men who can't see their children, there might be one. Men who can't have intimate with women because they struggle. Men who don't have confidence and they want to get confidence and they want to get money. Men who be used by women, whatever. They all overlap and then they find themselves in the manosphere. And of course, there's a black manosphere because when black people went to the manosphere, they will put at the bottom like black people do in most things. So the part two was let's make our own black manosphere, and they did. And I think what's his name? That brother, something Jackson. Oh, it's late at night, but his brother he died. He passed away, unfortunately. I think he died when he was with a non-black woman in some kind of hotel or something. Unfortunately, something Jackson. Yeah, I'm silly, but but I think when he died, there was a void, and a lot of black people jumped in trying to fill that void, and black people trying to fill it, and you see all these podcasts, and there's even some. Kevin Samuels, shame on me, I should know that. Shame on me twice. And then the thing, I'll be honest, the Kevin Samuels stuff. I remember, he seemed to be the leader, the head honcho in that kind of stuff. But one thing that I did like about him was I overheard him, like he seemed to mention wanting to fix the black community and wanted black men to be black women. And I did notice he was quite harsh towards black men as well. A black man he felt that was slacking. So I even though there was much controversy around him and the criticism that can definitely go his way, I did appreciate that from what I heard, from the little I did hear. And I haven't really heard any other black podcaster really say that. And that's because most of them are with European women, so they probably wouldn't say that. But that's why it's important to have those kind of values. But so unfortunately when he passed, the floodgates happened, and then you have all these people trying to take over, and that's why you see this kind of stuff where people are saying anything and trying to get clickbait, and we've seen the videos of all those other people and trying to kick women off the show and all that stuff. So I guess the question we're asking is if there could you rebrand the Black Manosphere concept or have a Black Betterment variant of it, or is it in its definition a part of Black Betterment in the sense of if men are trying to inform themselves, that's a good thing, right? If they're trying to become intelligent, trying to be healthy, trying to be wise, whatever they're saying, that's actually a good thing, right? I guess where it's not a good thing is where you're arguing or you're causing negative discussions overall on the women in your group. It would be good to debate anyone who's in the Black Manosphere. That would be a good thing. We'd have to debate some, but those guys, unfortunately, they seem to be completely controlled by rage and circumstance, and so it would be good to have an intellectual conversation. Like, are you best pleased with where the Black Manosphere is, and how could you reform it? And what are your views on Black love? Like, because I think there's a lot of these guys who speak, they're universal lovers, so. Yeah, wow. Any black man I come across who says, love is no color, and I love, I go where the love is or whatever it is, they're gonna end up with European women. That's the science I see. That's why I'm, it's good to try to interject the importance of black families, and that's why we talk about post-traumatic slave syndrome and the history and ancestral obligations. Blah blah blah. So yeah. Let me close that down. So this podcast here, I don't know if they identify as a manosphere thing, but they had Umar Johnson on their show and they had a few other people. I thought, okay, they might have had Rizza Islam as well. So that's another thing. The people you have on your podcast can show where your mindset is. A lot of these other yes, good work. So we did. Every time we mentioned his brother, he jumped on the podcast. So I'll give you a back catalog, a backstory. So Quincy was a guy. He was making like very random videos on the internet. He's based in the UK, and he would call black women some word like swagger gag. He had a word which I can't remember. It was a word, right? And he had a whole lot of trauma. Like, I used to date a black woman and she called me ugly. Or I wanted to date them in school and they all picked the other men over me, and black women are bad. So now I'm gonna get a white woman. And he was like, he is full of rage. And we mentioned him and he jumped in and he was quite uncontrollable. But we calmed him down and we said, well, the things, bro, we don't really see that. But would you like to maybe like have an experiment where we walk down the street and you talk to black women to see if the things you're saying is even half true? And he got kind of scared from that and he disappeared. But that's where we're at with him. But yeah, he was that person who he had some issues with black women from his past. For anyone who doesn't know him, yes, YouTube channel is Quincy82, who mostly puts out videos and talk about black women and this and that. There you go. So if you want any case studies on, I don't want to use incel because he might not identify as incel, but someone who seems to be very highly critical of black women, and I don't know where it comes from, check him out. But he did jump on the show one time, and then once again the logic made him jump off. But yeah, so these are the things, the Black Manosphere tactics. But what we were saying was, what does a more constructive thing look like? And I'm going to play a video of one podcast. I don't know if they identify as being, Black Manosphere driven or whatever, but they tackle some of the same topics about, women reform or men reform or something like that. So they might be pulling a group, but I saw a discussion. This one, that's one of the discussions.
Girl like me, no, seriously.
I am for sure.
Yeah.
I stay away from those type of black.
Yeah. Why though?
I tend to gravitate towards feminine women and women that lead in their femininity.
Yeah. Okay.
Women that lead more in their masculinity, too much of a headache for me. I'm not trying to throw the hands with you just to get your respect. That's not me.
Right.
So would you say that you date more Hispanic and white women?
No, I date black women. I just look for the feminine black women.
Would you date a masculine female?
Nah, I like feminine women.
I hear men throwing this word like, "Oh, I want a feminine woman," but at the same time, it's like women can be both masculine
and feminine.
Just like men can be feminine and masculine.
Do y'all like feminine men?
No.
Yeah, so what was good about that discussion was the men are saying what they like, and the women did ask a question: are you into non-black women? They said, no, we just like feminine black women. And I think that's a conversation you can have, where you can say there's a type of woman you want, and you're not beating down on black women as a whole, and you're saying that there is a type of black woman you like, and that's what you want, but there's certain kind of behavior plans that you don't really gravitate towards. And I think if the Black Manosphere was more like that, but more importantly, having important pro-black speakers onto it to add balance. Also, I think a sister told me to watch a show. I did, and it was part of the thing. A sister in there was saying the same thing that we were saying, that you want to tell men to talk to men. So if the Black Manosphere, one of the biggest criticisms I had with it was it's men talking down to talking harshly towards women. They say, why are you picking these kind of Pookie and Ray Rays? Why are you doing that? Why are you dressed like that? Why are you doing that? What? Why? But there's no of them actually talking to the men itself, the men who these women end up with, or the men who these people are not best pleased are around taking all the women. And I think that's at the crux of it there, you see, where a lot of these incels or manosphere people are the men that were kind of like ignored in school or ignored in society altogether, but didn't feel they had enough power to really make a difference amongst other men. And then what happened was, rather than actually talk to those men, like speak truth to power, like, you need to be bigger men and stop doing this, that, the third, they talk to the women the men have been with. And that's what I'm seeing. And so once again, it's that kind of the easy outcome. That's why we say, like, talk to men talk to men. If there's things in the community that's not working, especially if men are doing it, men should be talking to men about how to correct that. There's fix men fix men, women fix men. That's a very good strategy I recommend. But yeah, But you know what? That's me, family. Let me close it. I'm extremely tired. I've got to wake up super early tomorrow. Now, if people jump in, I shall carry on. But because I got some stuff tomorrow, I'll just do a quick rundown. We covered Quincy Jones, and I'm gonna update this grid next week, or maybe the week. I don't know timing it. But basically, I'm gonna do Michael Jackson one, Tina Turner one, all that stuff. But this showing you how black men or women, but more so men, when they marry Europeans and they become very successful, and then their children marry Europeans. This gentleman, he had a £500 million wealth and assets that he's given 80 million each to his children. As far as I can see, 6 out of his 7 children are or have been or are married to Europeans. So we know that a big chunk of that will go to European, and that's the big things to be aware of. If you marry a black woman and you pass away, she inherits your stuff. At least you know that even in death, black people of a black person is benefiting. These are the basics, really. So we covered today Quincy Jones and of the unfortunate passing, but also choices he made and how generational wealth could actually work. And then we talked about reforming the Black Manosphere. If could there be a value in black men, fixing themselves? What do we call the Black Manosphere? Maybe it's masculine fear or something. I don't know. Or black men being men fear. I don't know. Whatever. Right? Something. But yeah. But before we go, let me also highlight the concept that we bought not too long ago. Is it even here? You know what? I do wonder if I even put it. It's funny about this one. Could I open the wrong document? There's another this one. Maybe I skipped it. Oh, you know what? I reckon I updated it and didn't even put that in. Shame on me twice. Or maybe I skipped it. No. Okay. Must be the wrong document. I'll copy and paste it next time. Yeah, I was going to talk about. So let me open last week's one. That's a bit weird. So 2017. We must have been that one, surely. Jokers, man. Let's see if I read it there. Aha! Maybe I didn't put. Yeah. So last week, make sure I got to update that document, man. Yeah. So much things floating around. So Malengo. So Malengo is Swahili for goals, and one of the solutions to deal with the challenges is if we could culturally have this concept of Malengo, where black families, black economics, and black health is built into the children's minds, and then we could even have like metaphorical medals where you get a bronze, a silver, a gold throughout life. Like you're currently in your bronze zone, the silver zone, whatever, and your black family. So help your parents and siblings in life, promote black betterment to them, promote black love and support the community in achieving this. Marrying produces constructive black family. These things you have goals and things to achieve. It's a concept I definitely like help. We can break it down for the community, but I think being very particular and direct with what you're trying to achieve is important. And rather than talking about pain all the time, we can talk about solutions and actual tangible things that can happen that we can culturalize. And I think these three, I would say, for all my years of study and all those years of things I've done in debates and all that kind of stuff, I think these three areas are most. I think if we can get people addicted to these three areas, we will see a change. And if we can culturalize it, so that's by default, this is what people are trying to fix. And then, we have all the codified responses to people who might not support it, might disagree with it, make it become codified, naturalized. Black families, black economics, black health. We call that Malengo goals. The mandatory goals are goals of black people. I'll do more branding and stuff, but I'm going to end by saying that now. If no one's jumping in, I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. But we'll go back to the team. But remember, if you're a black person, and you're on this podcast contributing and you help black people, you have to know that you're important. It's actually not easy to do. It can be very draining. And your work, your reward might come in a future life, in a future time. But know you're important to them, I can tell you that. And for those who don't do that, know you are loved and know that those who are important are working on your behalf. Yeah? If there's any topics people want me to cover, let me know in Instagram or in the comment section here. If anyone wants to have their own intro, talk about something, you're always welcome. We always like black health, black economics, black family topics, spoken about any kind of black concept, whatever. you let us know. But yeah, I'm gonna end the show a bit early. Hopefully you got something from that. But next week I'll update the charts and all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see what's going on. But until next week, everyone, Black Betterment to all and to all Black Betterment. Everyone. Peace, 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 peace. End the show, the show, the show.